was so over. Oh, so over, so over. But now it's so back, baby. Let's fucking go. AEW back, so back. It's never been more back than it is right now. Now's the time. Let's celebrate. Oh, back in the game. Feeling great. No more doubts. No debate. Whoa. AEW's fate. We are so back, so back. It's never been more back. It was so over. Oh, so over, so over. But now it's so back, baby. Let's fucking go. AEW back, so back. It's never been more back than it is right now. Now's the time. Let's celebrate. Oh, back in the game. Feeling great. No more doubts. No debate. Whoa. AEW's fate. We are so back, so back. It's never been more back. It was so over. Oh, so over, so over. But now it's so back, baby. Let's fucking go. AEW back, so back. It's never been more back than it is right now. Now's the time. Let's celebrate. Oh, back in the game. Feeling great.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, all right? Make sure you log it in. And you remember to check out my good friends over at the Broken Table Podcast live on YouTube. These are some of my good friends. They have some of the best topics going on. They're talking about a lot of good things. And also, they like to put over the Prince Nana dance. Hey, I swerve and I drive. I swerve and I drive. Hey. Don't forget. Tune in, log on to the Broken Tables Podcast live on YouTube, my friends.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, Rome. How you doing tonight, sir? Oh, I could barely hear you there. What happened? I think it might be your cable got a little loose when I moved it there.
Moved it out.
Say something again? There you go. You're perfect now. You're perfect now. Well, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. My AC needs a new motor, but other than that, I'm doing all right. As good as
Your what needs a new motor?
My son. Yeah.
Oh,
I look forward to
jeez.
replacing that. But other than that, letting it out for us.
Oh, man. Well, that sucks. Hate to hear that. You guys can't hear Rome at all? Okay, yeah, I fixed it. No, it was good. That was just that moment that I heard. She's a little delayed. So yeah, man, AEW Dynamite number 250. I did not expect them to come out swinging like they did with a 1 hour long match. MJF versus Will Ospreay for the International Championship. This shit was crazy.
As he's an AC tech, yeah, man, it was rough. They came out a few times. We here on the East Coast we had like a really bad heat wave, and I was without an AC for like all of it. They came out and it was like a little thing that they thought they changed this one piece, and then the guy left, and about 40 minutes later yesterday it stopped working again. So they came back out today and they're like, yeah, it's got to be the motor at this point. So, yeah, fun stuff. What's up to Brandon James? Nat, obviously, King of Wicklow Mundo. But yeah, no, this Dynamite, specifically this match, I mean, this match, obviously, it goes, including the intro, it goes well into the second hour of the show. And I mean, we'll get into it, but I think it was honestly a great idea for them to do this on a pivotal Dynamite like 250. I think it was a special match, and I mean, yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah. So we started off here with MJF versus Will Ospreay, and my God, this match. There was no boring point in this 1 hour match. Like, I could go to just about every 1 hour match, we've ever seen, and there's usually a 2 or 3 minute period where the guys just need to take a rest. These guys didn't take a rest at all. They went the whole, literally, people have timed it out, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. They fucking nailed it to the second with this finish. We'll get there to the finish, but my God, Rome, this match, an hour of just what I thought was absolute perfection.
I completely agree with you. It was such a great match. I mean, I know that like the Fed drones on Cage match were voting it low, but they're just, obviously we don't pay attention to Cage match anymore. But you look at the like you said, they went 59 minutes and 58 seconds, and there was like the things these guys were doing at 57 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you would have thought they were going for about like 10 or 15 with the amount of gas that felt like they still had in the tank at 59 minutes.
Yeah, so you said 59, 58, which is, I believe, what Excalibur said. He said 2 seconds left. But I believe it was Dave Meltzer, take it with a grain of salt. But they said they timed it, and it was actually dead on 1 second, 59, 59. So, like, that's even more impressive, you know what I mean? Like, it's wild that they were able to nail the timing on that.
Yeah, because they probably
crazy.
gave themselves that extra second for, like, mistake purposes. They didn't even need it. They got it perfect.
Man, we had a crossroads with a nice little wink to the camera from Will Ospreay. What do you think that was about? You think he was just being cheeky, or you think he was sending
Cody
some sort of
took
message?
the Cody cutter from Will, so Will was just kind of paying it back. So.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes can't stop talking about AEW, though, so I don't want to talk about Cody Rhodes. This dude needs to get AEW out of his mouth already. Like, my God.
I mean, at 40 minutes, we get a Styles clash on the apron to MJF. It looked absolutely disgusting. There was a point after that where Doc Samson had to reset Ospreay's arm. It looked like, it's obviously a work, I guess. I can't say like 100% it's a work, but it looked like it. But they set his arm from like a dislocation. That was a great spot. And then at 50 minutes, we get freaking Styles clash from the top rope, and that massive elbow from MJF through the table. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this or if you know this. That elbow through the table is what injured MJF. Remember when his hip was all fucked up? That was from him doing that big table spot before. I can't remember for the life of me what match it was. If anybody in chat can remember what that table spot was where MJF, did the elbow through the table, that's what jacked his hip up. And he did it again in this one. And I don't know if you saw his leg, but after that spot, his leg had the nastiest big bruise, raspberry, whatever you want to call it, right on his thigh. And, kudos to him for hitting that move again that, hurt him. But, oof, this was a rough match, man. This was, that was just one of those epic matches. This could have been, literally was.
It was something that I just thought really helped make this match what it was. I mean, this is going to sound like a no shit Sherlock kind of statement, but it was just MJF and Will Ospreay went out there, and MJF went out there and was MJF, and Will Ospreay did everything he could to make MJF look the best he could, and vice versa. Like, I'm just like sitting here watching this, and it was just like I was watching, I think this is the best Dynamite match we've ever had, at least in terms of like a one-on-one singles, no gimmick match. And it's just like MJF is just out there being back to being his classic heel. He's flipping off fans, ripping signs, splashing water in fans' faces. And Ospreay's out there just doing what he does, being the aerial assassin. And both of these guys just played off each other so well. Like, when Ospreay needed to be the down babyface. He did it, and when MJF needed to let Ospreay get his licks in, he paid it right back. And I really loved it. I thought it was just excellent. Something about MJF that I really missed, and I know that we really shit on how MJF's 2023 ended, and rightfully so. I think that whole situation ended up really just unfortunate for everyone involved, including him. But I'm watching this match, and not to take anything away from Will Ospreay, but MJF, his matches, the thing about MJF that just makes him so special, isn't necessarily his heel work. It is phenomenal heel work, but it's the fact that MJF's matches are just some of the most logically sound wrestling matches, from the selling, from everything that happens in these matches, it's just great. And I think we overlook MJF sometimes in ring prowess, but I mean he showed it on yesterday. He showed it yesterday.
Absolutely. I've never heard anybody compare him to the Miz. Nat, that's horrible. Those might be fighting words if someone said that to me in person. So
CM Punk literally said it, I think.
Oh God,
well, when
that's
they were
ridiculous. Yeah. If it was in character, that's fine. Yeah, but to be serious about that, no way. 59 minutes room. We get Ospreay. He's got MJF up above his head for that Tiger Driver 91. All he's got to do is fucking drop him on his head. The match is over. He can't do it. He puts him down. Bryce Remsburg takes a ref bump to the face. Not a horrible one. Didn't knock him out or anything. Didn't annihilate him like some referees, getting KO'd. Kind of was just holding on to his nose a little bit, looking away. MJF puts on that Dynamite diamond ring and just blasts Ospreay square in the face. I'm not sure if you enjoyed the finish. I did. The crowd looked stunned. I don't know if they thought that the time limit came. I'm not sure what happened with the crowd, but they were all just sitting there what just happened? And it took Justin Roberts to be your winner and new international champion, MJF. I saw the pin clearly. I loved the spot with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, specifically because it sets up for another match, hopefully at All In. You know what I mean? But I loved this. I loved everything about this entire 59 minutes and 59 seconds.
So before I kind of give my thoughts on the ending, I kind of want to rewind briefly there. Obviously, I've said it before, one of the best compliments that I can give a match is when we sit here and we do the review, and I'm not just reciting spots. Because there's so much, it gets to a point where I'm I can't keep writing notes because I'm going to miss the match, the match itself. So that's why obviously I'm not going to sit here and recite a bunch of spots, but one that I really loved, and I think it's such an all-timer, not just for either of these guys, but for the company. And I really loved it because everybody got it right. The camera was in the perfect position. Everything was perfect. And I know you know where I'm about to go with this. So MJF at one point rolls out of the ring to get away from Will Ospreay, and he says, because does the whole chicken shit heel roll out of the ring thing. He's like, that's why I'm the smartest wrestler alive. And right as he finishes that statement, staring into the camera, Will Ospreay does a suicide aerial blade right
Straight
through the ropes. It's the kind of spot that you're going to see when they get to AEW 500 or Dynamite 500, right? And they're doing a whole 10-year look back, because it's going to be about the 10-year mark when we hit 500. If you do the math, it kind of shakes out that way. And they do this whole big thing, right? It's going to be that's going to be one of the key things in the video package, where it's that spot was so well done. We give AEW camera crews a lot of shit for missing spots because they do, and it's something that they need to improve on, and they've gotten better. But you got to give credit where credit's due. They could not have shot that angle any better. They were right where they needed to be, and it was phenomenal.
This whole match felt like they were shooting it beautifully. You know what I mean? The whole thing.
For sure. That spot just stands out to me because that is a spot that is so how well it goes over is just so indicative of the camera and the angle and the shooting.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
it was just they were in the perfect place and it was just perfectly well done.
Absolutely. So MJF gets the win here, our new international champion. I'm very much hoping that because of the cheating finish, we get a rematch at All In. That would be fantastic. MJF versus Will Ospreay at All In. He can get his championship back there. That actually solves one of those problems of, what were they going to do with Ospreay at this year's All In if he's not facing Swerve?
Well, I thought it was
So, what's that?
I thought he was going to be facing Ricochet. They might still do that. But,
Yeah, I agree. It could go either way, but we'll see.
yeah. But
This was fantastic. MJF with the oxygen mask afterwards. I love every time MJF has one of these long, hour-long matches. He's got the oxygen mask. It's great.
yeah, so Max has the oxygen mask on. He takes it off, and he's like, this guy is sweating profusely. He looks like he just went through hell, and he's like,
Yeah.
easy dub.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I love this guy. He's just so great. In terms of the finish, I thought the finish was great, actually.
Yeah.
I think it was another one where it just feeds into this match where it was a perfect finish. I mean, I thought they were going to go to the time limit draw. I, honest to God, like I was saying that in the Discord, even before I realized it was a 60-minute limit, when it was like a 30-minute limit and they were at like the 29-minute mark, I was like, oh, these guys are going to go time limit. Because Tony will do that. When he does these free TV big matches, like he'll do the time limit draw from time to time. Which I don't hate it because he doesn't do it super often, but I would rather him not continue to do that.
Like once a year, maybe?
I would do it less than that, to be honest. That's just me. But I mean, again, it was so well shot. They play off the stunned crowd because everybody thought they were going time limit at that point.
Yeah.
There's less than 10 seconds. At least from the TV, I didn't see MJF put the ring on. So when MJF decked them, I was legit shocked. I legit got worked. I was like, wait, what's happening? And he goes for the counts to 3, 2 seconds left, 1 second technically, but in canon it is 2 according to them. So
yes.
I mean, I got worked. I thought they were going to go the time limit draw, and that makes me love it more. Is that they finally had that thing where it's like, and that's where it pays off, and that's why I love that. What we love about AEW is that they respect the universe and their rules, at least most of the time these days.
Yeah.
But so by having us conditioned, it's like, oh, it's gonna go time limit draw, man. This is going 59 minutes. Oh man, they're like I was sitting there like they're gonna go time limit. Max is gonna ask for more time, and I don't know if Will's gonna do it or not. That was where I was at, and it ended up not happening. MJF beat him before, and it was a shocker for me. And
so good, dude. So good.
And they played off of it perfectly with everybody being shocked. They didn't go for the music. Justin Roberts was like, what?
He's like, and new.
Yeah, it was perfect.
MJF.
That was top free TV match ever. Best Dynamite match, I think. By a long shot.
And dude, we got to talk about this. Will Ospreay's been here for 6 months now, and he's put off 5-star after 5-star after 5-star match. This is crazy.
So I don't know if you know this, but so the ratings came in, and it is the highest Dynamite rating since April, beginning of April.
Okay.
And the highest segment of the night was the finish to this match. So the most people were watching the end of this match, out of all portions of the show.
Good.
Yeah. So it was great. Jose says the audio is buzz.
Yeah, hopefully I just fixed that. I'm not sure if that was me, but if it was, I hopefully just fixed it.
And here's another fun fact. This was the third longest match in AEW history.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Third longest.
Is that because it finished with 2 seconds like the other ones went to the time limit?
Yeah, so the longest match in AEW history is Danielson MJF, which was a 60-minute Iron Man that went overtime. And then
yeah.
is the Hangman Danielson match that went to the hour time limit draw. So
gotcha. Yeah.
By 2 seconds, it's the third longest match.
Yeah.
And by 5 or 6 minutes, it's it's away from the first longest.
Oh, also, Jose, it could be the fish tank next to me. If it sounds like a buzz, maybe it's like water sound. It's It's the fish tank.
What's up to Jordan Kirby? I don't think Will Ospreay is injured. I think we would have heard about something by now if he was.
I think so. They were playing that shoulder, on commentary as well. Like, maybe Will Ospreay is injured. We'll have to see where he goes from here.
See, the thing is, I think that there's a lot of intrigue around MJF and Will Ospreay right now because obviously, as great as that match was, you kind of want to ask yourself, well, do they do the rematch at All In? But I think that if you bring in Ricochet to do go against Will Ospreay, then I think there's a great matchup for All In with Max and Daniel Garcia. I just think that there's a few ways they can go with it. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
You know what? I really wanted to mention this other spot too, actually, in the match. It was that great. So there's a point where they get out of the ring, and Max and Will Ospreay are fighting up the crowd, up the stairs, and Will Ospreay is holding Max, and he motions to this 9-year-old kid, and he's like, "Here, come beat up MJF." And this little girl just starts wailing on MJF. Did you remember that spot?
No, I think I missed it.
Bro, you got to go back. So Will is got him in a sleeper, and he's like, "Come on, come on!" And the little kid just starts wailing on her, and she's super excited. She's having the time of her life. And after Max gets beat up by the kid, Max is flipping her off, shaking. It is.
That's great. I gotta go back and watch that. I have it on DVR.
Another one that it's kudos to them to do that because obviously how it is in 2024. It's you want to be in the crowd, but you don't want to really touch the fans. And so for Will and MJF to get this little girl involved, she's 8 years old. It's what's more she can do to Max? And she just starts wailing on him. You should check it out on Twitter, Jeff, and I'd even be okay if you showed it on the pod. I don't know if that would work, but it's really, really good. But yeah, so I love this match. I thought it was excellent.
It would take me a minute to find that. All right, let's move to the next segment here. We had basically some blood and guts stuff. Looks like the Acclaimed are going to be added to the blood and guts team. So far, I guess we got all 5 of our members of Team AEW.
No, we don't have all 5. Oh, now we do. By the end of the show, we do.
Yeah, by the end of the show, I'm sorry. So at this point, we have 4. We got Mark Briscoe, the Acclaimed, and Swerve. I'm not a huge fan of the Acclaimed being in this, but maybe they can prove us wrong and put on a great match. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. I don't have my glasses. The unfortunate thing about Dynamite 250 is it is a banger of an opener and a banger of a closer up until even the end of even the after match stuff is really great. Everything that really kind of sandwiches those opening and closing matches outside of the women's match, honestly, not very good. In fact, I would go with borderline bad. This segment being one of them. There was some stuff I liked about it. Look, you gotta call a spade a spade. I think that this Team AEW for this Blood and Guts is so lackluster. I likened it to, in terms of it's just bad choices. Mainly Mark Briscoe. Here's the thing: I can understand the Acclaimed being on Team AEW because they have meaning to the company. When you look at AEW, you look at the history of AEW. The Acclaimed play a big part in the story of the history of AEW. They were one of the homegrown pandemic era talents who they started as extras, getting jobbed out on every episode of Dark, and then Tony Khan put it together as a tag team, and they became superstars, right? And so as much as the Acclaimed are really cold right now, in my opinion, they've been cold all year, and I don't think that they're doing very great work necessarily right now. But at the end of the day, if you really sit down and say, okay, who means a lot to AEW, who should be on this team, I can't really necessarily make a big argument against the Acclaim being on this team. Swerve Strickland, same thing. Big signing for AEW, AEW World Champion, makes a lot of sense to have him here. Darby, we'll talk about Darby later, but Darby obviously perfect choice to be on this team.
Yeah.
I just think that there's no cohesion when you bring in Mark Briscoe. I still, for the life of me, cannot fathom what are we doing here? What does Mark Briscoe have to really do with AEW, really? Because again, you have to separate Ring of Honor and AEW. I don't care if they tape together. I don't care if they're both owned by Tony. I don't care if they share talent rosters. I don't care about any of those things. At the end of the day, there are two different promotions. If this was a Team Ring of Honor versus the Elite, Mark Briscoe absolutely should be on this team because of how much he means to that brand that is Ring of Honor. AEW, he means jack shit. He doesn't mean, and like again, like, and I've said it before, I don't get the appeal with Mark Briscoe. He does not do it for me. Nothing about Mark Briscoe, like in terms of the status of him being a Ring of Honor World Champion, being featured weekly on television when there's so many other more talented guys who should be on television. I mean, again, like I just don't get it. I try not to hate on it because I get it, but like I just don't get it. So, like for me, I just don't see what this guy has to do with AEW. I mean, like the dude wasn't even allowed to be in the company until his, the unfortunate passing of Jay Briscoe, like which like is fucking terrible, like and like screwed Warner Brothers Discovery for making it that way. But at the end of the day, like that's just the situation. The dude wasn't allowed in the company. His brother passed. He was allowed in the company, and then like he's done like he hasn't had really many good matches in my opinion. He was in the Continental Classic. He keeps getting all of these opportunities to be something in all of these spots. And like remember when he buried the House of Black and he was in the C2 and he like Tony just pushes Mark Briscoe to the moon almost, and it's just like he's not. That's not what he is.
It's actually a pretty good comparison there, Jose. He's getting the Ray treatment. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, Eddie passed. This was like, scrap the rocket. But I would push back and argue that, like, well, Ray was really talented. Ray was really doing it. Ray got... I don't know, man. I saw it with Ray in 2006. I don't see it with Mark here. And I just think going into it, like, Purell in the Discord made a great point last night. And, like, the way he worded it was perfect. And he said that the Tony Khan Elite storyline started off really strong, but then it really fizzled out. And this Blood and Guts match should be an escalation of the feud, an escalation of the storyline. Yeah. And you don't escalate by putting Mark Briscoe into the match. Like, there are so many people that would make more sense. Why is Blood and Guts not the Elite as they are now versus Swerve, Danielson, Darby, Mox?
I was just about to say the perfect person for this is Mox. Mox screams AEW when you think of Mox. You know what I mean?
Like, sorry, go ahead.
And for Tony Khan to be kind of getting payback for the neck injury he got, he'd be like, "Guess what, Hangman? You're facing Mox." You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess Hangman's busy with Swerve, but still, like, for Hangman to have two people that he's got to deal with now, that'd be crazy.
Again, I just think that, like, they could have booked this match in a way where, like, even just thinking about it, I'm getting chills, right? Like, could you imagine that Blood and Guts match next week? Like, Blood and Guts is on Wednesday. And I don't think I've ever been so unenthused for a Blood and Guts match ever. And, like, look, I'm sure the match is going to be phenomenal. When we get there, I'm sure it's going to be great. But, like, the build has been terrible. It's been a bad build. And, like, the Elite have really carried this. Like, but again, like, I think that Tony Khan kind of lost the point when it came to this storyline, where it was just like, you start off so strong. You do the Jacksonville spot, and then you do the draft, and then you're off TV for, you're away from TV for a few weeks, running remotely. I think that didn't go far enough before his return. And then he's back, and then Tony Khan introduces Christopher Daniels as an EVP GM kind of thing. And I don't understand what he's doing right now. I think he's just ridiculous. It feels like an excuse to get Christopher Daniels on TV, which I don't like.
I like CD in his spot right now. That's a fine spot.
It makes no sense for him to be there, though, Jeff. What is Christopher Daniels actually adding to the product? Like, what is he actually adding?
He's stopping the Elite from having full control. Every time they try to do something where they feel like they have full control, he steps in as the Tony Khan voice, and he's like,
Yeah, but Tony has been on TV since, and like that's the thing. Like, Tony never used to be on TV. Remember when Jeff Jarrett was looking for Tony Khan, and Tony Khan and Christopher Daniels are standing there together? It's like, why do we need Christopher Daniels in that segment? We don't need him. We don't need him. If Tony,
I get that.
Tony Khan is clearly willing to be on TV, right? Like, he's done it like 4 or 5 times this year alone, right? So in my mind, there is no reason for Christopher Daniels to be there. There was a reason if Tony Khan was still out of the building or still not there, But instead, they brought Tony back. I was like, well, does it really make sense for Tony to be back? Why don't the Elite just go beat him up again? And like, there's been so many issues with this storyline that it's just like, it just became nonsense. And then, of course, like, or not of course, but unfortunately, the build to the match has also just not been good. Now, again, I'm sure this match will be great, and I'm begging for Saturday, right? I'm begging for Mark Briscoe to be like in his locker room, and the Elite just show up and fucking murder him, right?
Right.
I'm just praying that that's going to happen, and then Danielson steps in, because you are like, they are one slot away from making this right? Where it's like, oh my god, like, what are we going to do? Like, we'll find out Wednesday if Mark Briscoe is going to be good to compete, right? And then like they get to Wednesday and it's like he's not cleared, and the Elite are like, oh, I guess it's gonna be 5-on-4, and they're gonna be like, well, we have a fifth man, and then Danielson's music hits. There you go, do that.
That'd be great. I'd like that.
Do that.
I would like that a lot. All right, let's move on here. We had a segment that I absolutely loved. We had the Elite with Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes
You're
Moné.
out of order.
What's up?
You missed TV time with Chris Jericho.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna skip.
No, unfortunately, we review it. So I will say this: it's still terrible. Like, you know, we're not gonna leave it out. It happened. It was something that actually happened. The watch along is different than a review, Jeff. I mean, I'm not gonna go too in depth, but it is cool that we're gonna get Suzuki versus Jericho at an FTW match next week on Dynamite. I think that's cool. It also feels a little overkill to do it on Dynamite because it's going to be Blood and Guts week. So I don't know if we needed another gimmick match. But I guess we're going to get it. So it's going to be a very bloody episode of Dynamite. Nat made a good point about the trios titles. Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. It was bad.
That's funny.
That's all I got.
I will admit I did not skip that on purpose. I actually, for whatever reason, didn't include that on there.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a bad segment. I mean, it's been bad TV.
Oh, shit.
It just hasn't been good. So, and then
right.
and then there's rumors going around that I think it's from Fightful that talks are in place for Sammy Guevara to return to TV, and it's like a lot of the speculation is going to be put with Jericho again.
No, God no.
I just think that's a huge mistake. I think it's just I feel so bad for Sammy because like Sammy just
the vortex
broken
man.
by Jericho, and like just get Sammy away from Chris Jericho. Sammy is, regardless of how you feel about the guy personally, he is way, way, way too talented to constantly be stuck in the Jericho vortex. I don't even want to see the vortex because now he's using it. Like, so I'm not even gonna try to be cute with him. He's like, the dude just can't.
No, don't let him steal it. We started that shit. Don't let him just steal it from
we're
us.
feeding into the work, and I don't want to do that. It's just
No, it's not like he's making money off of us saying it. Fuck him.
it doesn't matter. I'm not using it. It's like, Jeff. See, you're the old guy that steals and ruins the jokes, but it's like when we all have jokes, and then like someone comes in who's clearly not in touch. Like when the corporations come in and start making the jokes, it's like, well, now the joke's not fun.
Yeah.
It's like that. So it's like Jericho's not like when Jericho uses it, it's dead. I don't ever want to use it ever again. So for me, it's not even a vortex anymore. It's just Sammy deserves the opportunity to do work in the company without Jericho, and instead Jericho keeps bringing him back into these storylines where it's like we have big show levels of like face heel turns, where it's like, oh, first Sammy's against him and does this great angle where he turns on him, and it's so meaningful and impactful. And then a couple weeks later, he's like, I'm just kidding, Chris. You know I love you. I'm just like, fuck off. Enough.
I gotta save Chris from someone, even though I hate him.
Enough.
Alright. Let's get to the Elite and the CEO segment that I absolutely loved. So, the Elite are standing there talking. The Bucks cut a really good promo, to be honest here. I thought this was a fantastic promo cut by the Bucks. They basically have banned Britt Baker from ringside.
From the building.
Or I'm sorry, from backstage. It was from backstage.
Yeah, she's not allowed in the building.
No, backstage they specifically said that, which was the reason why later, they said she was able to buy a ticket to sit ringside. Right. So, Mercedes is looking absolutely amazing, and Okada whispers into Nick Jackson's ear, and Nick says Okada would like to see you do the Monet dance. So Mercedes does the dance thing, and Okada, I laughed so hard, Rome, my ribs hurt. Okada was like absolutely flustered. He almost dropped his belt. He was wiping his forehead. I would absolutely love a program where Okada is trying to hook up with Mercedes. This shit would be hilarious. I would.
We don't need that. We don't need to go the WWE copying the Janelle Grant route with Dom and Liv. No, I don't need to see them hooking up. But that was like what it was hilarious.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
And it's really good. And something about Okada that I think is really great, obviously, so he gets signed around the same time as Ospreay. And Ospreay is just out there killing it with these matches. And something I really appreciate about Okada is, now, like, obviously, Okada is an incredible pro wrestler. Can go out there and have 5-star matches, like, absolutely, right? But instead, like, he's still having these great matches, but he's bringing his own not usefulness, but he's bringing his own stamp to being in the company at the same time as Ospreay that sets him apart, where like he is just constantly hilarious. His character work, his segment work has been so good, where it's just like Liv Morgan likes the little D. Yeah, you know, that's right. But yeah, no, just having Okada be this hilarious dude, and it just every week cracks me up. And like, it's cool. It's really cool that Okada went out there and is kind of doing his own thing to separate himself from Ospreay, who signed around the same time. So I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and on that note of DMD being banned from the backstage area, next up we had the CEO, Mercedes Moné versus Nyla Rose. Very good match. Nyla Rose actually was in control of the first half of the match until they went to commercial. We come back from commercial, and you know, Mercedes hits her with that really nice submission. She calls it the what did I write down here? The statement maker is what she calls it now. Looked very good. Nyla Rose taps out. And then ringside, I noticed this person right away with the sign, but I had no idea that it was Britt Baker. I will be absolutely honest. There's this person ringside with a sign that says DMD is greater than CEO. Mercedes jumps out of the ring, grabs the sign, and rips it up. And it turns out to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with the freaking mask on. Absolutely loved this spot. DMD pie faces Mercedes. She falls on her ass, gets chased around the ring. Security comes out, separates these two ladies. I loved this. Loved it.
Yeah, so it was a really great match, and the post-match stuff was phenomenal. I mean, I really love that watching Mercedes really killed it in the post-match segment. Obviously, I've been critical of her out of ring work. And I mean, in her in-ring work too, but I mean, I think that this was a really phenomenal showing afterwards, where like you could just tell she is terrified of Britt Baker. She is intimidated. She doesn't want to show it, but the way she's like freaking out after she gets up and starts to run away, and the way like when the security guards, who like I wasn't gonna make a big thing about this, but the security guards like they go and they like tackle Mercedes, who's trying to run away from Britt, and I'm not sure who miscued there. I don't know if you caught that. But like one of the security guards like almost spears Mercedes, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I
I'm a little aggressive.
It's weird
because it's like it looked like he was trying to run up the ramp, and he's like, "No, I'm pushing you back this way." Like
it looked like he thought she was the one attacking Britt, and he was stopping her from attacking Britt. Like it was like, dude, you got the wrong one.
Yeah, and that's nothing against Mercedes or Britt. It was
it was the security guard for sure
who miscued, and so like it is what it is. But it was funny, and I just had to mention it. But yeah, I thought this was really, really good, and that's a Wembley match right there. I mean, that's going to be a special one in Wembley for sure.
All right, next up we had Jack Perry cutting a pretty decent promo and absolutely whooping Brandon Cutler's ass. He was trying to make a point, you know, to Darby Allin that whooping Brandon Cutler's ass didn't affect him at all. And I thought this was a great idea to have him whoop up on Brandon. That was a great idea.
It's really, really great because Brandon Cutler is such a fucking geek. And like, God, I hate Brandon Cutler. I don't think I've enjoyed a single thing Brandon Cutler's done since like like the pandemic era. Like, he's such a geek, and him just getting beat up is always great. And there was actually a post AEW follow-up promo on their socials with Cutler. So Jack Perry, he beats up Cutler and throws him to the ground. The post show, or the clip for the promo after the show, it shows Cutler getting up exactly where he got thrown down. Like, time has passed, and he just gets up from where he was.
Yeah.
And he's like, why does this keep happening to me? It's like this week, he was like, a couple weeks ago, it was someone, I forget who it was before Darby, but it's like someone beat me up, and then Darby the next week put face paint on me, and like beat me up, and took hours to get out, and now Jack, why would you do that, Jack? Why?
So, question for you, Rome. Would you consider Cutler one of the greatest geeks of all time?
Oh, by far. I don't know who else is a bigger... Like, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about geeks, right? In wrestling. There is... It's like a parabola, right? Where it's like, you start here, right? You start here, and, like, you're not a geek. And that's good. You don't want to be a geek. But then you go down the dip. And that's where most of the geeks are. Where it's like, these are the geeks where it's not a good thing. Like, you're a geek in, like, a bad way. And then, like, if you're really, really good at being a geek, though, and you own it, you kind of go back up the curve, and then, like, you're here, but as a geek. It's really fascinating. And, like, very few can do it well. But Brandon Cutler does. Like, I'm sitting here saying I fucking hate Brandon Cutler. I don't actually hate Brandon Cutler. He's just such a great geek that I will always enjoy. I don't care if the Elite are heels. I don't care if the Elite are baby faces. I don't care if they're tweeners. Anytime someone beats up Brandon Cutler, it is enjoyable to watch.
Absolutely.
And that is the signs of a great geek.
One of my favorite things he does is those cans of cold air spray. Like, every time I see them bust out those cans in a soccer match now,
Yeah.
I laugh my ass off, dude. All I think of is Cutler spraying someone in the face with them. It's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nat says Damian Priest is a geek in a bad way. Cutler is a geek in a good way. Yeah.
That's very true. Again, like, you can be a geek in a bad way. Like, like right now, like Max Caster, total geek right now. Not in a good way. Not in a good way at all.
Dude, somebody at an AEW show called Damian Priest the bisexual Undertaker, and it has absolutely ruined him for me ever since the moment that guy said it.
That's extremely cringe.
I was like, oh god, he's ruined forever.
Yeah, he's a geek, so.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely love me some Brandon Cutler. Jack Perry looked good in this. I thought it was a great point he was making to Darby, like, big deal, you whooped Brandon Cutler's ass.
Yeah, like, I'll do it too. Fuck Brandon Cutler. Fuck.
He
all my
even
homies Brandon Cutler.
he even said, he's like, I could give a shit about Brandon Cutler. I was like, yes.
Yeah, this is a good segment from Jack. Very good segment.
King says, but that's the funny thing, he is called that? Really?
Do they really call
Like,
him? That's cringy. That's extremely cringy.
It's horrible.
That's terrible. What a geek.
Next up, we had Timeless Mariah Storm. This was unreal. This was a great promo from Mariah May here. Mariah May comes out in full blown Tony Storm, just. And I loved everything about this promo here from her. She did absolutely fantastic.
I disagree.
Really?
Alright, so here's the thing. I loved her coming out as Tony Storm. Thought that was phenomenal. Thought she looked incredible. Looked just like Tony. I feel like they stopped playing the music because the live crowd did not realize it wasn't Tony. Like,
yes, the crowd had no idea.
The crowd was cheering, and so they turned the music off to really kind of be like, well, something's off here. Here's the thing. I think that we didn't do a show for it, but the Mariah May turning on Tony Storm after winning the Owen is one of the best women's segments in AEW history, if not the best.
Yeah.
It is extremely well done. Very, very good S-tier segment. The follow-up, for me, I don't know if it's the tone that they were intending to go with, or if, like, Mariah maybe just wasn't on tonight, or, like, she stuttered, or if, like, this kind of felt like Mariah's first time in AEW, at least, and then, in the national audience, delivering this kind of promo. So maybe there was like
Yeah.
nerves in it. I don't know what it was. I think that the delivery of this promo felt really flat. We didn't really get like a reason why she did it. It was more like she was just like, the question isn't why. It's like, why didn't I do it sooner? It's like, you can say that, but like you still like kind of like there is a reason. Like, you want to be the top girl, you want to be the star. You got close to Toni Storm, and when she was at her most vulnerable, and you got what you wanted, you reveal your true colors. You take what you want, and you could have explained all these things, and she didn't really do that. I think so. Nat doesn't like that she came out dressed as Toni. I thought that was the redeeming part of this promo. I would have called this promo like really bad if she didn't come out dressed up as Toni.
Man.
But I just think like it just really fell flat, and obviously you don't want to blame Mariah for this, but like when this crowd, which to be fair, and I was shitting on Little Rock last week, it was a good crowd. It was a really good crowd. But like when you have this crowd so uninterested that they're starting what chants, it's like a good crowd. When you have a good crowd doing what chants, you lost the plot. You lost it. And
I mean,
I didn't.
it's tough for just about anyone nowadays to do a solo promo in the middle. You know what I mean?
Look,
so I can see that.
Look, Jeff,
I thought it was good.
I'm not saying that she can't bounce back from. I'm not saying that I don't like Mariah May. I love Mariah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't a good promo. I don't think unless it's what they were going unless she delivered exactly what they were asking for, exactly what they wanted to deliver. If that's what they wanted to deliver, I think it was a misstep. I think you do this extremely hot angle, and like that cooled it off. Like that did not. Like you got to walk out of this promo with mega heat on your back. Like you garnered the initial mega heat from turning on Toni and having Toni a bloody mess. And Toni Storm is just sitting there crying, not even fighting back. But she's so heartbroken from her betrayal. She was crying last week as Mariah May bloodied her up. This follow-up just falls really short and really flat. I can't find it. Can't do it.
I thought the opposite, actually. Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, so like you didn't think that the delivery was a little flat, that the vibe was low, like no.
So I thought she was trying to be a heel. Myself like, okay, this is her first time doing like a solo in-ring promo, but she did look a little nervous. But I still thought it came across well. She was being like super heelish to me. I mean, of course it could have been better, but yeah, I didn't think it was bad at all. I loved that she's completed the transformation of the Toni Storm thing. If you look back, she's gone through every different stage of Toni's, of her gear throughout the past couple years. And now she's made the complete transformation. So I liked it. I thought it was good.
Like Nat just really hit a home run here. She literally could have. I gotta go to my other screen. She literally could have just said, as well as all you people, Toni really thought Mariah May was just gonna sit in the shadow of Toni's.
Yeah, that would have been a great line.
On that,
yeah.
And like that's it. Like okay, but like again, like it wasn't. It felt like a kind of promo that like I don't want to sound like really mean. This is gonna come off as really mean, but like it sounded like a kind of promo I expected to hear from like somebody who's like a month into the performance center. Like it just like I didn't feel anything about it. Like I don't think and she didn't say anything. Like there's just like nothing was said in this promo. This promo was just empty words. It felt like again, her coming out dressed Toni Storm, phenomenal. The end where she's like laying in the ring like Toni does and like the black and white, phenomenal, great. In the middle of that sandwich, you need some good meats.
I understand. I was expecting Toni to come out and something to happen, so I can agree with you on that. It needed a little something. I can agree with that.
Again, like Mariah could play off that as well, because obviously Toni's going to sell the injury. She's not going to be there. She wasn't there last night, and who knows when we see Toni again. We'll probably see her obviously on the lead into All In, but we don't know when. We still have another 6 weeks of TV before we get to All In. Like
true.
Mariah could have played off of that even, where Mariah could have been like, I don't know if Toni's even gonna make it to All In. We'll see what happens. Like there's so many things Mariah could have done, and she just didn't do any of them. She just said, it would be like if you like Jeff, like say I said something bad about you, and your response was, "I know you are, but what am I?" Like that was what it was to me. Where it's just like, you're just making a response to make a response. Like you're not actually saying anything, and it's just like, that's how I walked away from it.
I got you. All right, next up we had the Bang Bang Gang has been stripped of their Trios Championships by Christopher Daniels. And I kind of love the way that they threw all the belts at them. That was hilarious.
I actually have an honest question about this, just to get a better clarification. Maybe you were watching it. I was in the middle of like enjoying a nice beverage. But, So Christopher Daniels, he was stripping them on behalf of Tony Khan or on behalf of the Elites?
It's because of what they did to Christian Cage somehow. Like, I'm still not exactly sure why they're being stripped, I will be honest. But it's because Christian Cage went to management and filed a complaint or something like that. Can anyone in chat give us like a real reason why?
My understanding, again, like, admittedly, I didn't catch that part of Collision either on Saturday, because I wasn't feeling super well. But so like my thing is like, it sounds like from my very like limited understanding of this is that the Elite issued the stripping of the title, and Christopher Daniels is now doing the Elite's bidding. Like I don't know if I don't know if I'm
that's a good point.
Correctly, and if I am, what the fuck? Like,
well, apparently he is like the GM now. You know what I'm saying? So
it's not good. It's bad.
It's not. No, I don't think it's bad. I can agree with you that it's not good, but it's not anything that I'm upset with. I actually like seeing Christopher Daniels. So
yeah, but like the thing is like the Bucks. No. Christopher Daniels was put in place by Tony Khan to help relay Tony Khan's like decisions and his authority. Like Christopher Daniels should not be doing anything.
So Nat's saying that. All right, so I think it was Christian Cage went to the Elite and said since Jay White can't compete, they should be stripped. They're not letting Juice. Okay, I see.
So I have a question. So my follow-up question to that is, didn't they? Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but hasn't Tony Khan let someone else defend a title on someone else's behalf before? Like when MJF and Adam Cole were the Ring of Honor Tag Champions, weren't they like allowed to have, like MJF defended the titles with Samoa Joe, didn't he?
I think so, but that's kind of like an per match agreement type thing.
Yeah, but I think that's still.
This is where the Bang Bang Gang is trying to use that round robin rule where anybody in a trio can like hold the titles.
Freebird rule.
So
yeah,
what's it? Yeah, the Freebird rule. I'm sorry, why did I say round robin? But yeah, they're trying to use that, and apparently maybe AEW saying no, that's not a thing. I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to try not to be too negative about it because, again, I wasn't feeling well, so I did miss Collision, and I wasn't paying the most attention. Yup, that is indeed things that have happened. Yes, thank you.
That's a good catch, though, Rome. Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, again, like I like when AEW. Something I've always respected about them is that they're consistent with their in canon universe's rules. So, like, yeah. I don't like that. Like, if you don't want to have a Freebird rule, I get it. But so this should be the establishment that there is no Freebird rule. Like there needs, like, and hopefully they don't go back on it in the future. Because I don't like when they do that. I don't like when anybody does that. I don't have enough know-with-all to really. I don't want to crap on it too much because, again, I didn't watch Collision and I kind of missed this segment a little bit. I was only half listening. So I'll give it a pass. But from what I heard, it just doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is.
All right, next up we had our main event of the evening, Swerve Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada. This match was fantastic. I think we all knew there wasn't going to be a finish to this. I think we all knew there was going to be some sort of like a DQ or brawl finish, you know what I mean? Because it's basically everybody that's involved in the Blood and Guts match. Did you feel that way, Rome? Like, did you kind of just predict there wasn't going to be a finish to this?
I wouldn't say that I was predicting that there wouldn't be a finish, but I definitely was curious going into it, because obviously you had MJF beat Will Ospreay, and this was kind of another match where it's like, hey, this is like two top guys going at it. Like, is Tony going to have two of these top guys lose matches on one Dynamite. Like, because again, it's something Tony doesn't like to do. It saves for the money matches when you do them big time. And I get it, and I appreciate it, but I do want to see them do more actual finishes. I wouldn't say I was expecting a DQ. I'm okay with it because they just don't do it very often. I don't like DQ finishes, not like this. But again, like, they almost never do it. So, like, I don't like it, but as long as they're not doing it regularly, like, I'm fine with it. But
Yeah.
it's like, it is what it is.
No, I mean, I enjoyed it, especially knowing that it was going to happen. But I had a blast during this match. I love seeing Swerve do his thing. And Okada's just so good in the ring that everything Swerve did just looked so smooth and fantastic. And the same thing with Okada, obviously. You know what I mean? Swerve was making him look really good as well. But, you know, towards the end of the match, Swerve starts to get out on top. He hits a stomp onto Okada. And the Bucks jump in the ring and start to, just attack Swerve. We get the DQ. And we get everybody except for Darby Allin in the ring. And they're all brawling and smashing into each other and having a big old dust-up.
What's up?
And
what's up? Hold on. What's up to Coach Nick, who is
What up, Coach?
the king of the college football YouTube scene? Well, NCAA.
Yeah.
So that.
What up, Michael Duke?
So
as well?
here's a little bit of gaming fun fact news right now. That game, NCAA, is selling a shit ton of consoles, Xbox and PlayStations. Like, it's really moving numbers. Like, Xbox, like, I think they've sold like a decent amount of units on Amazon alone, like, in the past week. Since I think the game is still in early access, right? It's not out yet. It's out Friday, or is it like release out?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Regardless, though, like, since the early access started, like, consoles are being sold like a lot, which both Xbox and PlayStation really needed. But anyways, I digress.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alright, and then we get our surprise finish to the night. Darby Allin's music hits. Everybody's looking around. Where is he? Where is he? And Darby Allin descends from the rafters like Sting. This was almost perfect. The only thing about it is Darby kind of rotated to where he was facing away from the camera, so we didn't get to see his face. He was like screaming, like, yeah, as he was coming down.
Yeah.
So you can't really control that, I guess, but, he faced away from the camera, he hits the ground, they unhook him. This was awesome. Darby Allin joins into the fight, and this was fantastic. Love the end of this.
Yeah, I think giving Darby the Sting entrance, really cool. I really approve of it. Sean Ross Sapp did confirm that Tony Khan cleared it with Martha Hart.
Okay.
Which is always classy. The bad faith actors on Twitter were like, how could Tony do this? Like, he just had the Owen Hart tournament, and they're like, and Martha Hart was just here, and now she's out of the AEW for a year, so now you're gonna do this. It's like so tasteless, and I'm like, something wrong with those people. It's not. They're not right. Like, there's something wrong about it. Like,
That's crazy, man. But I loved this entire episode 250, dude. This was fantastic. I had such a blast during that MJF and Will Ospreay match. I've just never seen anything like that hour. That was unreal.
Yeah, I think it was an overall great show, but to be fair, I think half of the Dynamite was tonight's the midnight release. Yeah, it releases tomorrow on Friday. I think that, like, that match does a lot of the heavy lifting for this episode of Dynamite. I think that all, like, again, like, I think there was a decent amount of stinkers on this show. But I think where they needed to the most, outside of the Mariah May segment, both the opening match and main event accomplished their goal. Both were excellent. Obviously, the opener, one of the best free matches you're gonna see.
Do you think that was the best free match we've ever gotten on Dynamite? It's recency bias is going to make me say yes, but I know there were some absolute bangers, you know what I mean?
Again, I think if you take gimmick matches out of the equation, yeah, I think it is probably the best, like, non-gimmick match we've ever seen on Dynamite. I really stand by it. It was really just that good. again, there were some stinkers in the show, but there was also a lot of great stuff there. So I mean, yeah, it was a really good show. I'm looking forward to Blood and Guts next week. I mean, for better or worse, I think Mark Briscoe is just there to take the tap out. I can't seriously even justify Team AEW winning this match. Like, I just can't do it. Coach says it's good for the gaming community to use the next gen features finally, because they didn't make college football games for the old gens. Yep, that's why those consoles are selling. GTA 6 is going to do that next year too. A lot of these, the problem with games and the hardware not selling is that a lot of the companies are afraid to put their games exclusive to the newer consoles. So when a game like NCAA or GTA comes around and it's like only on the current gen, it's like those PS4, Xbox One users are like, fuck man, now I'm missing out. And they go and they buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Coach is doing some great coverage over there. I know he put out a video the other day. I didn't watch it yet. I put it on my watch later list. So
Yeah, go check it out. The thumbnail is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh, I gotta make sure. I have like, so like my YouTube viewing habits. I have like a playlist of like, make sure you watch this within the next week. And so I add it to that playlist when it's something I want to watch, but I don't have time. So I put that video. I'm gonna check it out. So everyone should check out Coach's channel.
Yeah, it was very good.
David Durham says Blood and Guts is going to speed up storylines in All In. Yeah, definitely. I think it's true. That's really funny.
Ospreay versus MJF was more wrestling than the entirety of Raw. Whew.
FOMO is the real deal. It really is, Coach. It really is. Oh, man.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. Is there anything else that you wanted to go over here tonight?
Well, I mean, I know you hear Hulk Hogan's giving a speech tonight, so I mean, that's cool. Good for you guys. Jeffrey Vegas, real Hulkamaniac.
Oh yeah. I got Macho Man behind me. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Linda McMahon hanging out with Hulk Hogan too. She said the entire McMahon family is doing just fine. In case you were concerned how the McMahon family was doing, Linda says everybody's doing just fine.
Didn't she divorce him though?
Yeah, but also no. So like, she's not divorced, but they're like separated probably.
Oh, okay.
What is he even talking about? Or I mean, Coach, he's gonna be talking about, you know, making America something. You know what I mean? He's good. Oh,
fucking guy.
That guy. I'm gonna say he's showing support because they took a shot at my hero. Did you, Matt? Is that real? Did Hogan really say that?
That's funny.
If that's real, Matt, I need to know if that's real. Or if you're joking there. Are you working me?
It sounds real.
It sounds really real.
Sounds real.
Sounds really real. CM Punk said something ridiculous today too. He was like, he said it's WWE working with UFC kind of takes pro wrestling back to its roots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What is that? What are you even talking about?
Like, are you okay, sir?
Punk will just say anything to justify him being there. Like, that is actually a quote from Hogan. Oh my god.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and close this one out.
Alright, well, this has been an edition of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everybody hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to Michael Duke, Nat, King of Winklemundo, Coach Nick, David Durham, Jose was here earlier, and everyone else. Thank you so much. Make sure you, like and subscribe on the way out. Join our Discord where we talk about pro wrestling and everything else that's going on in the world. Whether Jeff likes whether Jeff likes it or not. If you like video games, we have the Game Room podcast on our other channel. Please go check that out. You can find the link to that channel in the description down below. I wasn't able to do a show this week because my AC's been busted, so we didn't do a Game Room.
That's rough.
So yeah, I don't even know if I'm doing one next week. I'm hoping to do one next week, but like doing these shows right now is like really rough because like it's cooled down since like the heat wave is officially over here, but like the last 5 days have been utterly miserable. So
yeah,
like that's why I was just like, man, I can't do a Game Room. I texted Dev on Monday and I was like, it's not happening. Like we would just be sweating here. Like it just.
Yeah, you guys are just gonna be like roasting like freaking chickens down there.
Yeah, and I just don't think it would have been good content. So yeah, so subscribe, and as soon as my AC is fixed, we'll definitely be back on a regular schedule. But I'll probably try to soldier through both this channel and that channel for the next few weeks. So, support me as I kill myself. Please support me.
Well, before we get out of here, take a look at what I got the wife for my birthday. We went to the Forbidden Door, but we didn't sit ringside or anything, and they weren't selling the chairs like they were last time. But we went on eBay and we found somebody selling the chair for $150, dude. The same price as they would have sold it at the stadium.
Oh, wow.
And we got it. Dude sent it to me through eBay, wrapped it in bubble wrap, and it was perfect condition. Not a scratch on it. What's that?
How much was the shipping for that?
Shipping was $56. I think I paid like $203 altogether, or she did anyway.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, and this one's nice, man. I mean, the other one's nice too, but the colors are like a little more vibrant on it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys very much for joining us here tonight. My buttons randomly stopped working in the middle of the show, so we'll see what happens on the closer here. But we will catch you guys next time. Top Guys, out.